the Belated Binge podcast.
Hi, and thanks for watching Belated Binge on YouTube. Here we post mostly unedited footage from segments of our podcast series where we re-binge some of the most iconic series in recent memory that I was incredibly late on. Follow along as we're rereading the Harry Potter series and join the discussion in the comment section. If you enjoy it, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications to not miss an episode. And of course, if you want to hear the episode in full, you can listen to Belated Binge wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on social media, become a patron for early access and exclusive bonus content. Again, thanks for watching Belated Binge.
The Game Ball.
The Game Ball Award on the Belated Binge podcast is where we just, all we're doing here is commemorating our MVP for each episode. And for this one, I don't even think I need to say it. It's Hagrid. Duh. He finds Harry on an abandoned rock. He gives him valuable information that he had been withheld for his entire life. He opens up his world to a new and exciting future, also terrifying. He rescues Harry. He's the lost relative that comes to save him that he had hoped for in the last episode. They aren't blood related, but they are family. So the game ball goes to Hagrid. Now, how about the red card?
Red card.
The red card award is for the character that we want to get out of here. We want to disqualify them from the rest of the book if we can help it, but obviously it doesn't work that way. So let's just say they suck. This is Vernon. He's the worst. He's treating Harry awful before he gets the letter. He tries to stop him from getting the letter altogether. He drags his family around the entire continent, it seems, and off somewhere in the middle of the sea. I mean, we get the impression that the motel that Vernon takes them to is the type of place where you don't want to be when it's dark out. And I'm not going to, I don't want to say too many things like drugs or prostitution on this podcast, but it's one of them shady kind of places, and he tries to get there just to escape some letters showing up at his house because he doesn't want his nephew, Wizard Boy, going to wizard school. He's awful. They are related by blood. They are not family. And when Hagrid does show up, he's incredibly rude. He's incredibly disrespectful. He's, threatening to shoot him, I guess, although, again, very Looney Tunes, we get the tying the shotgun into a pretty little bow, which is, I guess, funny in some weird way. But he's the worst, not just to Harry. He's the worst to Hagrid. He's the worst to his family in this couple of chapters, and he just sucks. So it would be really great if we could throw him out of the game, throw him out of the books, throw him out of the series completely, because Vernon has no redeeming qualities whatsoever. That leads us into our final award for this episode of the Belated Binge podcast, which is our Fumble Award.
Fumble.
The Fumble Award is where we, instead of looking at characters in the story, we look at the story itself, and we look at the text, we look at the things that happen, and where does the chapter or chapters that we're covering, where does it kind of drop the ball? That's where the Fumble Award comes from. And for this one, we have a couple of things. Lily and James, head boy and head girl at Hogwarts back in their day. We learn later that Lupin was actually the prefect of their year, not James. So, unless I'm mistaken in my Wizarding World knowledge, which I could be, it's very possible. I like this. I like this story. I like this fandom. I like some of the companion stuff that goes with it. I like Harry Potter. I like that I've kind of turned into a Potterhead at this point in time, but I'm not all-knowing. I am not a encyclopedia for the Wizarding World. I could be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure that you can't be head boy without being prefect first. So how is it possible that Lily and James were head boy and head girl at Hogwarts back in their day if James was never a prefect? I think this is probably just an oversight at the beginning of a story that was still being fleshed out and probably wasn't known at this time how large and expansive it was going to go, and some of these rules just didn't exist in the author's head yet. The second thing is similar to that. It says Hagrid says that he flew out to the rock in the sea, but there's no detail to that. There's no come again by Harry, and we get a little bit of exposition on how that actually physically worked. But later on in the series, he's too big for a broom. Only Voldemort and Snape in the canon of the books are able to fly on their own without, broom or other means. I have to come to the conclusion that this might have been a particularly strong Thestral, because he does, breed the group of Thestrals that are at Hogwarts, and Dumbledore does fly on Thestrals to go places sometimes, and our heroes in book 5 fly on Thestrals to go to London. So there is some canon to that. It gets a little bit tossed on its head for the Seven Potters when he shows up on the motorcycle. I don't think it's expressed directly that Hagrid is too big for a Thestral, but perhaps Hagrid and Harry riding on the same Thestral is too much for a Thestral to handle, and maybe this is a special Thestral that was able to take him to the rock. We don't really know, but Thestral is my best guess. However, I do like this little thought that came to me right before recording this episode, and that is, what if it was Fawkes the Phoenix? This is a mission from Dumbledore. Fawkes is Dumbledore's Phoenix. Phoenixes can lift extremely heavy things. 8-foot half-giants are extremely heavy things. I'm just saying, there could be something here, and it's kind of fun to think about. But I think at this point, again, the author just hadn't really grasped the rules of flying for this world quite yet, so it was left kind of intentionally vague, and it didn't quite hold up for the rest of the series. That's just my guess. I could be totally wrong. Feel free to let me know what you think. With that, we've reached the end of this episode of the Belated Binge podcast. So thank you for listening, as always. Shout out to our producer, Jack, who we always work like a dog. Remember to follow and subscribe to us wherever you get podcasts. Leave us a review, 5 stars, please, if you enjoyed the show. Become a patron over on Patreon for early access and exclusive content that we have over there. We're also on social media at Belated Binge on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Our show segments are available on YouTube, and we want to hear from you. So leave us a comment on any of those places. You can slide into the DMs, or you can email the show at belatedbinge@gmail.com. If you're reading along, next week we're going to tackle. We are going to tackle Chapter 5 of Sorcerer's Stone, Diagon Alley, which is a big chapter, so we're only doing one. Otherwise, we'll see you next time on the Belated Binge podcast.